And what else could we do? We can also unlock the secrets of the Big Bang. You see, Einstein's equations break down at the instant of the Big Bang and the center of a black hole. The two most interesting places in the universe are beyond our reach using Einstein's equations. We need a higher theory, and that's where string theory comes in. String theory takes you before the Big Bang, before Genesis itself. And what does string theory say? It says that there is a multiverse of universes. Where did the Big Bang come from? Well, Einstein's equations give us this compelling picture that we are like insects on a soap bubble, a gigantic soap bubble which is expanding, and we are trapped like flies on flypaper. We can't escape the soap bubble, and that's called the Big Bang theory. String theory says there should be other bubbles out there in a multiverse of bubbles. When two universes collide, it can form another universe. When a universe splits in half, it can create two universes, and that, we think, is the Big Bang. The Big Bang is caused either by the collision of universes or by the fissioning of universes. If there are other dimensions, if there are other universes, can we go between universes? Well, that, of course, is very hard. However, Alice in Wonderland gives us a possibility that maybe one day we might create a wormhole between universes. This is a wormhole. Think of taking a sheet of paper and putting two dots on it. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But if I can fold that sheet of paper, then perhaps I can create a shortcut through space and time, called a wormhole. This is a genuine solution of Einstein's equations. We can actually see this in string theory. The question is, how practical is it to go through one of these things? We don't know. In fact, there's a debate among physicists today. Stephen Hawking, many physicists are jumping into the game of trying to figure out whether it's physically possible to go all the way through a wormhole. Because if you could, then you might be able to use this as a time machine. Since string theory is a theory of everything, it's also a theory of time. And time machines are allowed in Einstein's equations, but to build one is extremely difficult. Far more energy is required than a simple DeLorean with plutonium. You know, trillions of years from now, the universe is going to get awfully cold. We think the universe is headed for a big freeze. All the stars will blink out. Stars will cease to twinkle. The universe will be so big, it'll be very cold. At that point, all intelligent life in the universe must die. The laws of physics are a death warrant to all intelligent life. There's only one way to escape the death of the universe, and that is leave the universe. We are now, of course, entering the realm of science fiction, but at least we now have equations, the equations of string theory, which will allow us to calculate if it is possible to go through a wormhole, to go to another universe where it's warmer, and perhaps we can start all over again.
I remember you said that death is psychologically just as important as birth, and like it's an integral part of life, but surely it can't be like birth if it's an end, can it?
Yes, if it's an end. And there we are not quite certain about this end. Because, you know, there are these peculiar faculties of the psyche that it isn't entirely confined to to space and time. You can have dreams or visions of the future. You can see round corners and such things. Only ignorance deny these facts. It's quite evident that they do exist and have existed always. Now these facts show that the psyche, in part at least, is not dependent upon these confinements. And then what? When the psyche is not under that obligation to live in time and space alone, and obviously it doesn't, then to that extent the psyche is not submitted to those laws. And that means a practical continuation of life, of a sort of psychical existence beyond time and space.
Do you yourself believe that death is probably the end, or do you believe that?
Well, I can't say. You see, the word belief is a difficult thing for me. I don't believe. I must have a reason for a certain hypothesis. Either I know a thing, and when I know it, I don't need to believe it. If I don't allow myself, for instance, to believe a thing just for the sake of believing it, I can't believe it. But when there are sufficient reasons for a certain hypothesis, I shall accept these reasons, naturally. I should say, we have to reckon with the possibility of so-and-so, you know.
Well, now, you've told us that we should regard death as being a goal,
yes,
and that to shrink away from it is to evade life and
yes,
life purposes.
yes.
What advice would you give to people in their later life to enable them to do this, when most of them must in fact believe that death is the end of everything?
Well, you see, I have treated many old people, and it's quite interesting to watch what the unconscious is doing with the fact that it is apparently threatened with a complete end. It disregards it. Life behaves as if it were going on. And so I think it is better for old people to live on, to look forward to the next day, as if he had to spend centuries. And then he lives properly. But when he is afraid, when he doesn't look forward, he looks back, he petrifies, he gets stiff and he dies before his time. But when he is living on, looking forward to the great adventure that is ahead, then he lives. And that is about what the unconscious is intending to do. Of course, it's quite obvious that we are all going to die, and this is the sad finale of everything. But nevertheless, there is something in us that doesn't believe it, apparently. But this is merely a fact, a psychological fact. Doesn't mean to me that it proves something. It is simply so. For instance, I may not know why we need salt, but we prefer to eat salt too, because you feel better. And so when you think in a certain way, you may feel considerably better. And I think if you think along the lines of nature, then you think properly.
Y ahora, de vuelta a la Tierra, volvemos a nuestra primera pregunta. ¿Dónde estamos? Hemos aprendido que nuestro planeta es una pequeña esfera orbitando alrededor de una estrella, en un humilde vecindario llamado el Sistema Solar. Estamos rodeados de un pequeño grupo local de unas pocas decenas de estrellas a una distancia de hasta 50 años luz. Y todos nosotros ocupamos una pequeña parte de un brazo rotatorio en una galaxia de tamaño mediano conocida como la Vía Láctea. junto a otras más de 50, formamos un grupo local de galaxias de 10 millones de años luz de ancho. Y juntas ocupamos una esquina de una enorme agrupación de galaxias, conocida como el supercúmulo Laniakea. Es como una enorme ciudad galáctica, llena de cientos de miles de galaxias parecidas a la nuestra. Agrupado con muchos más millones de cúmulos, forman brazos gigantes que se extienden a lo largo del cosmos. Las estructuras más grandes conocidas por la humanidad. Y esta es solo una pequeña esquina del universo observable, la cual mide miles de millones de años luz de un extremo a otro. Aunque las distancias son inimaginables, el hecho de que la mayoría de las personas pueda comprender que tal universo existe es una hazaña extraordinaria de la mente humana. Así que ahora espero que estén comenzando a darse cuenta de que con un poco de razonamiento tienen la genialidad para descubrir dónde estamos.
Why should I live in history, huh? Look, I don't want to know anything anymore. This is a world where nothing is solved. Someone once told me time is a flat circle. Everything we've ever done or will do, we're gonna do over and over and over again. And that little boy and that little girl, they're gonna be in that room again. And again, and again, forever. In this universe, we process time linearly, forward. But outside of our space-time, from what would be a fourth dimensional perspective, time wouldn't exist. And from that vantage, could we attain it? We see our space-time would look flattened, like a single sculpture with matter in a superposition of every place it ever occupied. Or sentience just cycling through our lives like carts on a track. See, everything outside our dimension, that's eternity. Eternity looking down on us. Now, to us, it's a sphere. But to them, it's a circle.